Good afternoon, former agent?
No, I'm actually a retired investigator, but I was a former task force officer.
Retired investigator. Okay.
N-word, lighten up your tacos?
What does that mean?
I have no idea. I don't know what was said.
You don't know, right? Because you didn't ask anyone, correct?
No, but
So Marissa Viverito is someone who worked for the DA's office in Fulton County, correct?
she used to.
And she's also worked for the state of Georgia, correct?
You're the expert, detective. Which songs? Which songs regarding rap violence caused the death of children?
I don't know the name of the songs, but yes.
And you know her to be on the witness list for this case, correct? Okay. So
When it says 100 rounds in a Tahoe, does that mean that the bullets went into a Tahoe, or does it mean that there's 100 rounds of ammunition inside of a Tahoe that someone's driving? If you know.
100 rounds in a Tahoe, it could be either or. God stood on the
Hang on, let her finish her answer, and y'all are kind of talking over each other. So,
Why y'all sent this lady up here playing? Y'all knew the defense was gonna do her in. Man.
If you new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat, we finna dig deep. What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. Man, I'm your host, Jay. And y'all know we got to talk about this Young Thug yslricotrial. Now, man, can the state get any type of help and assistance from a witness that'll come up here and help them try to secure a conviction? At the rate that we're going, they ain't gonna get it today. Now, today, the defense actually went left on another state's witness. And man, oh man, can you say objection on the stand? Man, before we dig deep, y'all make sure y'all tap that notification bell so you'll get the drop whenever we drop. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And definitely tap that like button. Whether you're a fan of the state, the case, or a fan of Young Thug and YSL, man, tap the like button. Y'all ready? Let's dig.
When you look at State's Exhibit 418Y, do you see the caption on that picture?
Yes.
What is the caption on that picture?
We in Houston with this S-word.
Okay. And are there emojis next to it?
Yes.
And are you able to tell what those emojis are?
Snake emojis.
All right. And what's the date and time of this post?
9:43 p.m., 3/22/2015.
Now, looking at State's Exhibit 3TT, is the car that you were just referencing this blue Maybach?
Yes.
All right. And was it of note of the individual standing on the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know who that individual is?
Diamante Kendrick.
Okay. And again, was this posted on social media?
Yes, it was.
All right. As a gang expert, is there some significance of a person associated with YSL standing on top of a vehicle with someone associated with YFN?
It is significant.
I'll object under 24-774D about the significance of somebody's mental state.
all right, I don't understand it to be asking that question. Overruled.
What, if any, significance is that as a gang investigator when you see a post such as this?
It showed, like I said earlier, the disrespect between, I felt like that this particular,
In your opinion,
in my opinion, this is a sign of,
Just a second.
okay.
Your Honor, it's also called for have.
She's been qualified as an expert,
She's just because she's an expert doesn't mean she knows someone else's mental state.
and she's not testifying to their mental state. Overruled.
So the state actually believed that they were actually cooking with this witness on the stand. Wrong. Now what's interesting is that the state actually used this witness to actually reintroduce the same evidence that they weren't previously able to get in from the previous witness that was actually kicked off this case. Now it's interesting because, as I keep saying, the state plays with words, and you definitely have to pay attention to every little detail in the words that they say. Now, even more sick, if you sit up and actually pay attention to what's been going on as we've been watching this witness on the stand, ask yourself, what actually makes this witness an expert compared to the last one? He was an expert too, and we see what happened. The interpretation of music, the interpretation of lyrics. Did I not say that, hey, everything hits different? And if the state didn't know that, ask yourself this, why do they play on verbiage when it comes to their own witness? Let's dig.
Go ahead.
Working as a gang investigator and dealing with different actual rivalries and, you know, the gang problems that we have had in the city. When we saw this particular post, we saw that it was like a gang member taking a shot at another gang member by standing on his vehicle outside of one of our malls here in Georgia.
and what mall was this?
Lennox.
And the vehicle, who did it belong to?
Objection. Also speculation.
If it's within her knowledge, don't speculate.
It was Rayshawn Bennett's vehicle, YFN Lucci.
Okay. And the person on the vehicle, were they a member of, well, okay. Were they associated with a rival gang of YFN Lucci's?
Yes.
Okay. And
Objection, Your Honor. There's been no foundation really for how this detective has knowledge about someone's.
Actually, yeah, there has. Overruled.
Now, the state introduced a couple of snippets of the songs that were actually played in the courtroom just to show this witness expertise when it came to the actual understanding and interpretation when it came to lyrics. But ask yourself this, is it possible that when we hear music, the context to one may be different from the other one that's listening to the same music?
are you familiar with what that location is?
Yes.
And where's that?
That's 1007 Hill Street in Atlanta, Zone 3.
And how are you familiar with that location?
That location was YFN Lucci's mother's residence during the time that she was a victim of 2 drive-by shootings.
And would it be of note, hypothetically speaking, if the drive-bys were purported to be by members of a particular gang whose gang member wrote a song or sang a song that says, "I shot at your mommy, now you no longer mention me"?
Yes, that would be significant.
Overruled.
Why would that be of note?
Because it actually happened. It was a real crime that happened where the rival's mama was shot.
Hypothetically, if there was a member of a gang who shot at or in the direction or shot a gang investigator that was trying to arrest him, and this person shot at him multiple times, would it be of any significance to you as an expert if there was a song by a member of that same gang and in that song it says "Killing 12"? Would that be of any significance to you hypothetically as a gang investigator? As a gang? Is any type of evidence or information that support what may be contained within the music?
Well, the same objection not been on the Kent jury anyway.
Sustained.
As an expert, was shooting at a police officer, could that increase the status in a gang?
Yes.
How?
It shows your the other gang members that you are willing to put in work for the gang, put your life on the line, because sometimes if an officer fires back, then you can be killed, so you will risk your life for the gang. But if you can do it and get away with it, you get stained. And stain, the definition of stain is you get like not really rank, but you can get like appreciation, or you can get street creds. With a lot of the gang members are looking for get street creds, not only from the higher ups in the gang, but from the gang members that they roll with, or even just from the public.
Thank you. Court's indulgence for a moment.
Now, to be fair, at first, things were definitely looking up for the state. You got this lady on the stand with a professional background talking directly to the jury, and she's delivering her testimony with confidence. But what you're not paying attention to is the facial expressions while she's talking that tell a complete different story. Is her facial expressions actually showing doubt to the jury? Then you look over at the prosecutor's table, you see the head nods, the smoke signals. We understand exactly what you're doing, giving her the information to let her know not to say too much too soon. Now it's interesting because, again, on cross-examination, why is it like the state's narrative always seems to fall apart? And again, will the defense be able to expose that this witness may not be an expert after all? Let's dig.
Talked about you were interested in a lyric. I just want to make sure that I don't misquote it, about a Tahoe. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
And it's 100 rounds in a Tahoe. If I'm saying it wrong or you think it's different, just, correct me. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. Do you know what the next line is to that song?
N-word, lighten up your tacos.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
When it says 100 rounds in a Tahoe, does that mean that the bullets went into a Tahoe, or does it mean that there's 100 rounds of ammunition inside of a Tahoe that someone's driving? If you know.
100 rounds in a Tahoe, it could be either or.
And did you do any type, and I know you, Detective Underwood, did you do any type of investigation to find out, if you could, what is the essence of that line?
I did not. It was just ironic that crime happened with the Tahoe and the victim was the ops.
How many rap songs, I'm just limited to rap songs, and if you don't know, just say, I don't know, talk about rounds in a vehicle?
I don't know specifically how many. I haven't kept up with that.
The next line of that song is something to the effect, and if I'm wrong, again, correct me, give him surgery, not lipo. Do you see that? Is that something like that? And if I'm wrong, just correct it.
Say, give him surgery, no lipo.
No lipo, thank you. And then the next one, the next line or artwork is, they don't blame that, and I'm not going to say, but B-I blank C-H for pulling you down. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
What does that mean as far as your expertise and analysis with the Donovan Thomas, God forbid, killing with the Tahoe behind him, that there's something to do with a B-I blank C-H pulling that person down?
They don't blame that B word for pulling you down. That could be a woman. It could be reference to a woman bringing somebody down, or.
How does the Donovan Thomas, tell the jurors, from your investigation, how does the Donovan Thomas killing relate to a woman pulling someone down?
I think on direct, we said that the entire song didn't reference the murder. You're making the song about the murder. We said on direct that that first line was in reference to the murder. So that was it, just a snippet.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
Are you done? I didn't mean
I'm
to.
done.
Okay. Your teammate found one line and ignoring the context or the other words or lyrics around the line. Is that fair to say?
No, we didn't ignore it, but that particular line stood out because of the words that were used.
Did any of the other lines assist that one line that you're focusing on with the Tahoe?
No, but it jumped off into, like F12 and killing 12. And so 12, Donovan Thomas wasn't 12. So we can't say this song was about just Donovan Thomas. We know that. We know that just that particular first line. And he did it a couple of times. He said it 2 or 3 times in the song. So he jumped around talking about a lot of different stuff in that particular song.
Do songs, in your experience, and it doesn't have to be rap music, do they sometimes repeat lyrics throughout the song?
Yes, they do. The hook, maybe, or yes.
What'd you call it?
The hook.
Okay. Now, you mentioned killing 12, and the line is something like killing 12 and then SH blank T. Fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And 12, I think the jurors know, that's a symbol, a slang for police officers. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
All right. And is this unique to Slime, SH blank T, killing 12 in music of the rap industry?
I don't understand that question.
Is killing 12, that phrase, or killing 12, SH blank T, is that unique to this song?
I'm sure there's a lot of rappers that probably talk about killing the police, but this song had the YSL S word first, then killing 12 S word. Like it was referencing that's what YSL do, kill 12.
And which police officer, God forbid, was killed that you're referring to?
In this song, I didn't say one was killed, but killing 12 is like, I want to kill 12, or it could reference anything.
Do you have, through your investigation of this case, your knowledge and collective knowledge, do you have any police officer that, God forbid, has been killed?
No, but I have seen where YSL members have fired at the police more than once.
All right, let me do this. Could you talk about YSL members, and then we're going to come back to the other songs, if that's okay. Do you know whether Lil Wayne has a symbol?
Nah, it's not coming to me right away.
Okay. Does a goat sound familiar? And if you don't know, just...
That sounds familiar. It seems like I've seen that on an album cover or something.
Okay. And Future, an eagle? Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
And Drake, an owl?
Yes, I remember the owl.
And have you seen Jeffrey Williams collaborate with all those different individuals, those performers?
I have.
And have you seen their album covers or pictures with the snake and the goat, the owl and the snake, the eagle and the snake? Have you seen that?
I've seen a couple of them, not all of them. I really haven't paid attention to them.
Okay. I want to go over with you 15. God forbid the killings, January 10th, 2015. Okay. How many times did Jeffrey Williams initiate? I mean, he's the one to initiate the caller to Demise McMullen.
I don't know.
How about Kenneth Copeland?
I don't know.
Justin Cobb?
I don't know. I didn't look into that part of the investigation.
Okay. All right. Now, you were asked about whether Jeffrey Williams, you were shown a stack. It's Jeffrey Williams exhibit numbers 220, and then it starts with A and it goes alphabetically throughout. You were asked about January 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, whether you found any schedules of concerts. You remember that question?
That was on the flyers.
Yes.
Did we see any flyers?
Yes.
Because it was a list of flyers for the whole year, I think.
Yes. Do you know who got those flyers?
No,
Do you know who Detective Racy is, by any chance?
I do.
Now, January 11th, 2015, Do you know where Jeffrey Williams physically was?
I don't.
Do you know whether he was filming a music video?
I don't.
Assuming facts, not evidence.
Sustained.
Same question on the 12th. Do you know whether what he was doing?
On the 12th, where he was? I don't know.
Do you know what type of work he was doing on the 11th, 12th, 13th, etc.?
I don't.
So did y'all catch what actually just happened with this cross coming from YSL Still? It was short, sweet, and to the point. 3 things I want to make sure that we actually point out. First thing is that Still actually just debunked this witness testimony right here in front of the jury, showing that she may not be as expert as she actually claimed to be in the state alleged. Second thing, with her testimony, he just showed right in front of the jury again. This witness testimony is really not based off fact or concrete evidence. It's really based off assumption and opinion that's being presented as facts. Third thing he did was when it came to what happened with Big Nut, he disassociated Young Thug again from that whole situation. No phone calls, no motive, no furtherance, no money paid, no communication. Does the state still failing to connect the dots? Or was this just part of the state's plot? Let's dig.
Mr. Kendrick.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
So I listened carefully to your testimony. When you were giving an answer about, or answers about a photograph depicting Mr. Kendrick standing on the hood of a vehicle, you said you wanted to focus on, quote, the crime at hand and who committed it, correct?
I didn't say it was a crime. I said it was disrespect.
Okay. So you don't believe that my client was committing a crime?
If he didn't damage the vehicle, no.
Uh-huh. All right, great. And you didn't, you perceived that that was an act of disrespect, correct?
Did.
Okay. Did you question Mr. Kendrick or any of Mr. Kendrick's associates about him doing that?
I did not.
Did you question Mr. Rayshawn Bennett about that incident?
No, I didn't.
And to be clear for the jury, Rayshawn Bennett is the person who you believe owned that car, correct?
Correct.
He's also known as YFN Lucci, right?
Yes.
So you didn't question him about how he perceived it?
No.
And you didn't question any of Mr. Bennett's associates or friends about that incident?
I didn't, but Mr. Lucci spoke out on a pod with how he felt about that.
Okay. But you don't know for you're assuming that it was gang related, correct?
I'm not assuming. I know what was going on when that happened.
You didn't question anyone involved, but you knew.
I didn't have to question. I knew that it was a gang beef going between YFN, Lucci and his crew, and also YSL and their crew.
When is the last time before that photograph that Mr. Bennett and Mr. Kendrick spoke in person? Do you know?
I think they ran into each other at Lennox, but that was just according to social media. Or they actually talked about them running into each other or talking.
Do you know whether or not they ran into each other that day at the mall?
I think I saw something on social media saying that they did.
Is it possible that they made a bet that day and this was just someone winning a bet?
I don't know what was said.
You don't know, right? Because you didn't ask anyone, correct?
No, but the
You're
guy
assuming.
stood on the
Hang on,
guy.
let her finish her answer, and y'all are kind of talking over each other. Sorry not to do that. Thank you.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Sorry.
I don't know it, but I don't think they even made a bet because, like I said, it was a lot of animosity and tension between the two groups.
And you wouldn't know because you didn't bother to question any of them, right?
I didn't question them, no.
Yeah. So you don't know for certain whether it was gang related or a bet or what the reason was or the intent was behind Mr. Kendrick standing on that vehicle. That's fair to say. You don't know because you didn't question any of them.
I saw the reaction of Mr. Lucci when he was questioned about it.
Why not ask him? Why not go and ask him then?
I didn't have to ask him. I saw his reaction. He wasn't
He
happy.
didn't have to follow the evidence.
He
or
wasn't
investigate?
happy.
It's possible he wasn't happy because he lost a bet and had nothing to do with gang activity? Yeah, it is assuming facts. You don't know one way or another what the reason or intent was in my client's mind. Isn't that fair to say?
I don't know what his intent was, but he got a reaction out of Lucci.
You believe in the First Amendment, right?
I do.
You believe in people's right to free speech?
I do.
You believe in musicians' ability to create lyrics for art, right?
I do.
But you stated in your testimony that you think rap music that depicts violence is popular, but it shouldn't be.
I agree. It shouldn't be glorified.
And
I stand by that.
you also said that there are songs which have killed children in Atlanta. Which songs?
I don't know specific songs, but I know that it's music. The reason for the beef, as far as the Atlantic Station situation, going back and forth on social media with songs and disrespecting each other. Next thing you know is gunplay and children are dead.
You're the expert, detective. Which songs? Which songs regarding rap violence caused the death of children?
I don't know the name of the songs, but I know that those particular kids were involved in music talking about each other in the music, then it's violence spawned because of the music.
Do you think you should be an expert on rap lyrics?
Sustained.
I never said I was an expert on rap music. You said that.
You understand that lyrics and even lyrics about violence can be used as art to depict, to be marketed and for commercial purposes without being factual, right? You agree with that?
I have heard of that and seen that, but
And that can be done in
it's
movies.
not. It's not a good thing. That's all I said.
Not a good thing?
Right.
You ever seen the movie The Untouchables with Robert De Niro?
Probably not.
No? Goodfellas?
Seen Goodfellas.
Okay. So do you think Robert De Niro should be charged with crimes because he depicts murder and violence?
No.
What about Al
didn't do
Pacino?
If he was charged when he stepped off the movie set and he went and did the actual things that he did in the movie, then yes, he should be charged.
But you said in earlier testimony that if it's depicting previous actual acts of violence, then that should be a crime.
Like I said, if Robert De Niro left the movie set and went out and shot somebody like he did in the movie, then yes, he should be charged.
That's not what you said earlier. You said,
I would say argumentative, Your Honor.
okay. Did you say earlier that someone who is rapping about a previous act of violence should be held responsible for that?
That's not what I said.
Okay.
I said that they put in the music or in the wording of the songs things that have happened, meaning whether it was a shooting, whether it was a drive-by, whether it was a smash and grab, whatever. I say that sometimes this can be a confession. Sometimes it can be taunting just to the other gang members or the ops or whatever.
So if it's taunting, then it should be criminalized. Is that your...
I didn't say that either.
Okay. So Bob Marley singing I Shot the Sheriff is okay too, right?
He shoot the sheriff in real life like that man did up in Kentucky, then yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if it's like the sheriff shot the judge.
You don't know much about Bob Marley's life, do you?
What do I got to do with anything?
Listen, you understand that you've already testified that you have no concrete evidence that the lyrics that were played in this courtroom earlier are directly related to any actual criminal activity, right?
I didn't say it was connected to criminal activity. I never said that.
Well, okay. So they're just art. They're just free speech then. We can agree on that?
It's free speech, but like I said, when you talk about a crime that actually happened and your group is the suspect, it's
what? It's what?
It's obvious that you were involved maybe in that crime.
It's obvious that you were involved if you're singing about it?
Could have been.
Yes, sir.
Object to the characterization of it's obvious that you were involved, maybe. And I'm going to object to Mr.
Overruled. What else? Hang on. To Mr. App's misstatement. Is that what you said? Ask your question again.
Thank you, Your Honor. So what you're saying is if someone sings about an act of violence that previously occurred, then it's obvious that they were involved.
That is a misstatement. That wasn't.
Is that what you're saying?
Not exactly. I'm saying that if crimes have been committed and then you go brag about it in a song, it's hard to defend that you didn't have anything to do with what you're pretty much confessing in a song.
Okay, and I guess that's my point. If Robert De Niro plays Al Capone and he's playing Al Capone in a movie, is it then obvious that he's the one who's in the mafia? I don't understand. Why is it that singing about a previous crime that occurred somehow ties you to that crime? What evidence do you, and let me rephrase, what evidence do you have that either Mr. Kendrick or Mr. Williams actually committed the murder of Donovan Thomas?
I didn't give you any. I didn't tell you that I had evidence of that.
Oh,
Did I tell you that?
You testified.
I testified that they killed Donovan Thomas.
You testified that it was obvious.
Got
a
me
moment
mixed
ago.
up. I didn't tell you that.
So it's not obvious that they're involved?
Objection, Your Honor, because I'm not sure where we're going to go, and so I want to.
Well, a minute ago.
Hang on and let me listen to her objection.
Can we approach her?
Yes.
Now, what's wild is that the state actually thought that this witness was a secret weapon after the former detective was actually removed from the case. Was this a slip away for the actual state to slip in critical details that they couldn't get in with the last witness? But as you see, the defense definitely didn't let that happen. Instead, they actually just showed the jury that this witness and her information was definitely far from credible. Her assumptions were just opinions, nothing concrete, nothing that could really tie Young Thug or the other defendants to these actual charges. So was this another failed expert that backfired by the state? Let's dig.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Detective, you were saying that and I don't want to misquote you, but that if someone raps or sings about an act of violence that actually occurred, then it becomes obvious of what?
To me, it's bragging. It could be taunting or bragging.
And well, let me ask you this: are you aware of whether Mr. Kendrick wrote any of those lyrics that were played in the courtroom earlier?
No, I'm not aware.
So you don't know if my client was even involved in writing those lyrics.
I never said he did.
And you're not aware of Mr. Kendrick in any way, shape, or form being tied to or involved in the murder of Donovan Thomas. Isn't that true?
I know he was arrested and charged or a suspect for it.
Were his fingerprints found anywhere?
I didn't work the homicide portion of that. You would have to refer to.
So you don't know. You don't know if his
I
fingerprints.
didn't get into the homicide investigation.
You don't know if his fingerprints were found on the Tahoe or any evidence in the case?
No.
You don't know if his DNA was found?
No.
You don't know if any ballistics were found that were tied to Mr. Kendrick, correct?
No.
In fact, you're not aware of any eyewitnesses who saw Mr. Kendrick commit that crime, correct?
I don't know of any.
And you went to great lengths to give an expert opinion about what the state refers to as Exhibit 535YB, which is the song called Slime. And I apologize, I may be less genteel than Mr. Steele is, but it's a piece of evidence. The song's actual name is Slime Shit. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And you stated earlier you don't know the date that song was released, right?
No, I only see the date that it was uploaded to YouTube, like I told Mr. Steele.
You don't know the date it was written?
I don't.
You don't know who wrote the lyrics?
I don't.
And so if that song, if I told you that track was released officially on September 16th of 2015, and that...
Sustained.
I'll withdraw the question. If, hypothetically, if those lyrics were released in 2014, before the murder of Donovan Thomas, then wouldn't it be fair to say that the Tahoe mentioned in the song had nothing to do with Mr. Thomas's murder, right?
That would be fair.
You're not suggesting that whoever wrote the lyrics was psychic and predicted the murder of Donovan Thomas, right?
I did not say that.
Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions.
So let's dig. Ask yourself, how does this actually look for the jury? Imagine sitting here hearing witness after witness, and now this one, who's supposed to be an expert, is exposed for not really knowing what she's talking about on the stand in front of the jury. Now the defense, as you see, has definitely made it clear she wasn't credible from the jump. Her testimony wasn't solid, and the state was just trying to force this narrative. Now after hearing the state's key witness backpedal, ask yourself, does the jury have another reason to actually doubt the state's narrative in case? As this continues with one more witness crumbling under cross-examination, are we actually witnessing the state's RICO conspiracy theory fall apart piece by piece? Let's dig.
Yo, stop what you're doing real quick. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit the like button. Share the video. Hit the like button. Let's dig.
Good afternoon, former agent.
No, I'm actually a retired investigator, but I was a former task force officer.
Retired investigator. Okay, retired investigator Underwood. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
All right, good. First of all, I just want to get one thing out of the way. And I know you were answering a question. You brought up some Atlantic Station incident. That has nothing to do with this case,
Oh,
correct?
no, it has nothing to do with this case.
Okay.
It was just referencing gang violence.
Okay, cool. You, in preparation, you knew you were going to be testifying eventually, and you provided a CV
I did.
to the state, correct?
I did. It's probably been a while though, because I might have updated it since I did my Daubert maybe.
Okay. Yes, I understand. On Friday, when the state was asking about some of your background experiences, you were asked, have you received training on how gangs use music to promote violence? And you answered yes.
I have.
Okay. Could you tell me the name of that class and who taught it and when that occurred?
I have attended like the Georgia Gang Investigation Association training where, and I can't remember the name of the individual. I know Marissa Viverito has taught one at APD, but when I went to the GGIA one, I can't remember the name of the instructor, but I've had like at least 2 or 3 classes.
So Marissa Viverito is someone who worked for the DA's office in Fulton County, correct?
She used to.
And she's also worked for the state of Georgia, correct?
Yes.
And you know her to be on the witness list for this case, correct? Okay. So she taught that class.
She taught one of them.
Okay.
Not more than one.
Well, who specifically talked about how gangs use music? What individual, what professor, or was it an artist that talked about that? Who was it?
It wasn't a professor. It was law enforcement.
Oh, law enforcement. And who was the law enforcement?
The one that I do remember recently was Marissa. She taught one at APD.
All right. Marissa Viverito, who used to work for the DA's office. Okay. So there was no one from the music industry, no artists or anything there. Okay.
No.
How gangs, you were asked if you had training in how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. Again, who were the musicians or anyone that spoke to you about that?
No musicians.
Okay.
The classes that I've taken have been all from law enforcement when it came to gangs. My other classes at Columbia Southern were professors, but they didn't talk about gangs.
Okay. And how gangs use music to promote fear in other gangs. What date was that? Who taught you about that?
I told you what class. I don't remember the instructor on one of them, but I do. Like I said, the most recent one at APD within the last 3 years. It might have been while she was still here. She taught that one. That's the one that stands out. But I did go to one down in South Fulton as well, but it was like a GGIA training.
You were asked how gangs use. You were asked about your training or education and how gangs use music to promote cohesiveness. Who taught that class? Is that the same answer?
It would be the same. Yes.
Okay, so no one from the music industry, and it seems like
every class was law enforcement.
and the one that you're speaking of is Investigator Viverito, who's on the state's witness list for this case.
That's one of them.
Okay, and the same answer would be for your experience when the state asked you how gang members use music to send messages to rival gangs. Would those be your same answers?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then you were asked by the state here, among other things, to talk about lyrics in this case, and you've been speaking about specific lyrics.
Yes.
Okay, in that Bad Boy video, you didn't recognize the other artist?
No.
You
I don't know who that is.
You ever hear Juice WRLD?
I've heard of it, but I don't. That's not anybody that came on the radar because he haven't probably committed a crime here in Atlanta.
Okay. So as I understand it, in preparation of this testimony, and correct me if I get the timing wrong, sometime last week, the state gave you some music videos to review or some songs to review?
Yes.
Okay. How many?
The 3.
Okay. It was just those 3?
Just these 3.
Okay. And they were all songs by Jeffrey Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Did they not ask you to review a song called Homicide, written and performed by Lil Woody featuring Fagiano?
Never heard of it, no.
Have you ever watched that video?
I haven't.
Okay. Are you aware of this song?
No.
You aware that in that music video, in that song, Woody talks about putting money on someone else's head?
Not aware.
Are you aware that the person he talks about putting money on their head is a heavy-set African-American male?
Not aware of that.
Are you aware that the person he conspires with in that video to kill the heavy-set African-American male is Trevante Turner?
And also objection vague as to, are you talking about what happened in the video?
Yes.
This video? So
I haven't seen the video.
Okay, so you're not aware that Trevante Turner played the role of the hitman in Woody's video where
I haven't seen that
he
video.
depicts killing a heavy-set African-American male. Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
All right, are there any other defense counsel?
So after the defense just shredded the state's narrative apart with this actual witness, Ask yourself, did the witness not understand that some of this wouldn't even be scripted? At this point, it's not even really just about the state failing to prove their case. It's about whether they can actually recover at all. Can they actually bring forward any witness who won't crumble under cross-examination from the defense? Or is this just another sign that the defense has them on the rope? So again, I ask, is it possible that the state's witness actually got it wrong with a misinterpretation of lyrics and the misrepresentation of song? Or did it not look like this witness was actually given a script from the state that says read along and go along?
So what y'all think? Did the state actually just get it wrong? The misconception again, as I said, with verbiage, interpretation can be wrong, especially when it comes to a song. Now, as we see, the defense just shredded this actual witness to part, showing it right here in front of the jury that this witness is not an expert at all, especially when it comes to lyrics. Now, did that witness get exactly what she deserved for getting on the stand, actually going with the state's narrative? Again, this is a witness that you can clearly see the difference between being biased and unbiased. Which one was she? Now, it's interesting because the defense was absolutely right. What classified this actual witness to be an expert when it comes to music and lyrics? And if you're such an expert when it comes to music and lyrics, why did you not have any of the opposing or the ops lyrics to actually go back and forth to make the state's narrative make sense? Why only focus on one individual, one set of lyrics? 100 rounds in the Tahoe, duck your taco. All the songs this man done made, and this is what we came up with. Y'all stuck on this. This is why it took 10 years for y'all to have an investigation for a case that still doesn't really even exist. Man, y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all thought about this video. Let me know what y'all thought about the defense. Did the defense handle business? And yet got it. His attorney that stepped in for Mr. Weinstein, whoa, went left. But it was so professional. Did you see how the defense just set it up? Chess, 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 checkmate. Let that sink in. Now, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Remember, the greater the height, the greater the weight. Remember, the life you save might be your very own. Till next time, man, y'all jump in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Tap that like button and damn sure turn the notifications on. I'm your host, Jay. Gone.